Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. All right, guys, I'm back. It's Wednesday, February the 19th, and it is 9:53 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be looking into the news items tonight, and so let's get at her. All right, but first, there's a couple people I need to thank. The following are contributors via Coffee: Connie T, Barb, Anon, and Sherry. Thank you guys so much. It keeps this channel doing what this channel does. So it's very important, and thank you so very, very much. That is the only form of, we don't have any advertising on this site, and we are demonetized. So it does help us to keep moving. All right, well, let's just jump right into the news here, and let me make this, hang on here, we don't want that, we want this. There we go. All right, so let's just jump in because the water's fine. Actually, it's not, but let's just pretend it is. All right, you wouldn't want to be jumping into any rivers or lakes here at this time of year anyway. Well, not if you value your life. Okay, Pelosi and Schiff travel to Jordan to undermine President Trump in shadow diplomacy. Violate Logan Act, should be immediately arrested upon return. Now, I happen to agree with that wholeheartedly. They should be arrested when they return. I don't know who these two think they are, but they think they're much, much higher on the food chain than they actually are. So I can't even imagine that they would go behind the president's back and travel to Jordan. And that is a clear violation of the Logan Act because they were not asked to go by the president, and they are not formally representing the president. Well, you can be sure of that. So they definitely should be arrested. This should end. It should end, really. It's been enough. I think the American people have had enough. I think even a lot of the liberals are looking at this and going, wow. I mean, it's pretty obvious, really obvious. Okay, it wasn't that long ago that Obama deep state operatives led by U.S. Attorney General General Sally Yates accused General Michael Flynn of violating the Logan Act for making calls to foreign dignitaries, including the Russian ambassador, after Donald Trump won the election in 2016. We now know that the Obama administration and deep state officials were spying on General Michael Flynn for at least a year prior to his private phone call with the Russian ambassador that they leaked to the liberal fake news media. The Logan Act, enabled in January 30th, 99, is a United States federal law that criminalizes negotiation by unauthorized persons with foreign governments having a dispute with the United States. General Michael Flynn's job as National Security Advisor was to contact foreign dignitaries, including the Russian ambassador, after the 2016 election. Fast forward until today, or to today rather. Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her top lieutenant, Adam Schiff, flew off to Jordan this weekend on their shadow diplomacy trip. The Democrat leaders met with Jordanian leaders and others to undermine President Trump's Syrian policy. When Obama and Hillary Clinton tore apart the Middle East from Yemen to Egypt to Syria to Libya, resulting in tens of thousands of deaths and millions of third world migrants flooding Europe and the U.S., the Democrat Party leaders did nothing. But this weekend, they flew to Jordan to undermine President Trump. Arrest these traitors. Now, this from the Gateway Pundit, and I cannot agree with them any more than I already do. Arrest them. Enough is enough. They have to be shown, here they are all talking about, well, President Trump isn't above the law. He's not above the law. But they all act like they are. Unbelievable. And certainly President Trump doesn't act as if he's above the law. He hasn't even done anything wrong. But, well, that doesn't matter to them. So let's go back now and see what else we can get into. And this is from Donald Trump Jr. And he says Dems are mad at Trump for abusing his pardon power, total presidential pardons or sentence commutations. Carter, 566 people he either pardoned or commuted their sentences. Reagan, 406. Herbert Walker Bush, 77. Cigar Bill, 459. George W. Bush, 200. Obama, 1,927. That's Obama. Trump, 26. But please, by all means, educate me on abuse of power, says Donald Trump Jr. And I could not agree more. He's had less than the presidents before him, all the way back to Carter. And Obama had 1,927. Trump has 26. But, you know, the liberal media is going crazy saying he's abusing his pardon power. And I heard somebody complaining, saying, oh, well, yeah, they're all black. Well, if they were all white, they'd have something to say about that too, wouldn't they? So, and actually, they're not all black. So anyway, I don't know. I've even just given up perusing the liberal media because it's so nonsensical. They pull facts out of their hinder parts and present it like it's the truth. And they wonder why they're losing so many viewers. Gee, I can't imagine why, CNN. All right, and this from our president, Donald J. Trump. There must be justice. This can never happen to a president or our country again. I think we all agree with that. And he is responding to Lee Zeldin, who said there are high expectations that the Justice Department will very soon deliver transparency and accountability regarding the DOJ, FBI officials who weaponized the awesome powers at their disposal in order to target the Trump campaign. Frustrated Americans demand justice. It's long overdue. I agree. And President Trump is right in saying there must be justice. This can never happen to a president or a country again. And that is true. I would never want another president to have to go through what Trump went through. And to tell you the truth, I don't think that there are many people, if you search the world over, that could actually go through what Donald Trump has gone through with his mind still intact. Seriously. I mean, they've tried to kill him. They've lied about him. They've tried to, ruin him in every way possible. And yet he's still standing strong, and most of the country is standing strong with him and behind him totally. All right. Now let's look at this from Educating Liberals. Net worth before presidency. Trump, $3.7 billion. Obama, $1.3 million. Clinton's, $700,000. And Carter, a mere $150,000. Not that that's mere. I think any of us would be happy to have $150,000 if we don't, which I don't. Now let's look at their estimated net worth today, after their presidency. Trump, he came into the presidency at $3.7 billion, and he's now at $3 billion. He's lost money while in office, and he's not even taking a salary. Obama, he went in with $1.3 million, and he came out with $134 million. Please tell me how that happens, seeing as the president only makes, $400 and some $1,000 a year? So tell me where he got all that money. I'd like to know, wouldn't you? I'd like to know how all these officials get so rich going into public service. They're supposed to be serving us. They're serving themselves, and they're pocketing our money. All right, and Clinton went in with $700,000, came out with $243 million. Gee, that's a good deal, isn't it? Yeah, certainly. Wonder where all that money came from. Oh, pay-to-play schemes. Now Carter, he went in with 150,000 and he came out with 8.5 million. Trump is the only president in this list anyway that has lost money while in office. What does that tell you? Guess he's not taking those bribes like the others did. All right. And they said, remind me who's corrupt again? Well, looking at this list, it sure ain't Trump, is it? Nope. All right. Let's go on now. All right. Pompeo slams Democrats for secret meeting with top Iranian official. I don't know what they said. I hope they were reinforcing Americans' foreign policy and not their own. Yeah, well, we know whose policy they were enforcing. Certainly not America's. Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo slammed on Tuesday a group of Democratic senators who reportedly met in secret with Iran's foreign minister during a foreign policy conference held over the weekend in Germany. A delegation of Democrat senators reportedly led by Senator Chris Murphy, a Democrat from Connecticut, held a secret powwow with Iranian. Oh, they held a powwow and Elizabeth wasn't there? You know, Elizabeth Warren? Like, hi, how are ya? Hi, how are ya? Yeah, that Elizabeth Warren. Okay. Hang on here. Held a secret powwow with Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif on the sidelines of the annual Munich Security Conference where Pompeo was an official speaker. The meeting was not officially sanctioned by the U.S. government and appears to have been held in secret to avoid media scrutiny. State Department officials have been clear that they did not play any role in facilitating the meeting or backing it. Pompeo, speaking to reporters during a tour through Africa, said that the Democrats who participated in the meeting are aiding and abetting the globe's foremost state sponsor of terrorism and anti-Semitism. The guy is designated by the United States, Pompeo said, referring to Zarif's recent addition to official U.S. terrorism lists. He's the foreign minister for a country that shot down an airliner and has yet to turn over the black boxes, Pompeo continued, referencing Iran's recent downing of a commercial airliner that killed all those aboard. This is the foreign minister of a country that killed an American on December 27th. This is the foreign minister of a country that is the world's largest state sponsor of terror and the world's largest sponsor of anti-Semitism. If they met, he said, of the Democratic senators, I don't know what they said. I hope they were reinforcing Americans' foreign policy, not their own. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Now we know what they were doing. They weren't enforcing America's foreign policy. Are you kidding me? Senator Murphy did not respond to a request for comment, and, well, naturally he wouldn't, would he? While the details of the meeting have remained unreported, with the senators involved bucking media requests to address the matter, it is likely they met with Zarif to discuss how the landmark nuclear deal can be saved as the Trump administration tightens the economic noose on Iran through tough sanctions. Iran has responded by ramping up its contested nuclear research. Leading Democrats have repeatedly expressed their willingness to re-enter the United States into the deal ever since President Trump scrapped it. Pompeo is scheduled to continue high-level meetings in Ethiopia through Wednesday, where he will promote U.S. investment in security matters. His ongoing trip has sought to counter concerns that America will pull critical security assistance from African nations currently combating terrorism and other regional security challenges. From Ethiopia, Pompeo will head to Saudi Arabia for several days of meetings that are likely to focus on Iran. Now, here's my question. Why aren't these people that met in secret with Javad Zarif, why on earth are they not being arrested under the Logan Act? That's what I don't understand. These people seem to just, it's against the law, but they do it anyway because these people think they're above the law. And wouldn't you think you were above the law if you could just do whatever you want and get away with it? I mean, so far, they've proven to be above the law. We can only hope that changes, and changes very quickly, because I know I have lost all faith in the justice system, and I'm sure that most of you have as well. Now, I haven't lost faith in the fact that I believe that it will be turned around, but right now it's a very broken system. Very. All right, let's go back now. All right, and I got a little chuckle out of this by Juanita Broderick, and she is responding to Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters. Oh, I think she's off her medication, really. She said, "It's not enough for Barr to resign. I want him out of the DOJ, disbarred, disgraced, and investigated for obstruction of justice. Barr sabotaged Mueller report, was in on Ukraine plot, and now he wants to free Trump's criminal friends. In my estimation, they all belong in jail." Well, in my estimation, Maxine, you belong in jail. How about that? Yes, you do. You were voted the most corrupt member in Washington. Yeah, well, and that's a lot of competition for that award, to be the most corrupt, because we know how corrupt a lot of these guys are. Anyway, Juanita Broderick responded and says, "Frightening, isn't it? When someone tweets such bullcrap, then you think, my God, this imbecile is in Congress." Yeah, that was exactly what I thought too. Exactly. And this is an artwork by John McNaughton. It's a painting, and I think it is very, very well done, so I wanted to show it to you. Sorry, I just knocked my computer there. Here is the clown media, and you recognize this guy, Jim Acosta? Yeah. And you can recognize others if you look really closely. But I just think that this is awesome. It's awesome because that's exactly what is going on. Yep. Anyway, had to show you that in case you hadn't seen it. And let's look at this, shall we? It's the next in our list. Okay, now this by Representative Matt Gaetz. "I believe McCabe should have been prosecuted for lying. Michael Flynn, George Papadopoulos," that's right, I said George Papadopoulos, "and Roger Stone were all charged with misstatements, but McCabe was not charged. It makes people believe that an old FBI business card may be doubling as a get-out-of-jail-free card." Yeah, that's exactly what people are thinking. Well, let's give this a listen.
I don't know how Andrew McCabe wouldn't be central to the Durham probe, because Andrew McCabe was the acting FBI director. And remember the text messages between Strzok and Page where they talk about the need to open up investigations during McCabe's tenure as the acting FBI director, because they didn't think they could get that maybe in the future if someone else were brought in. So he seems central to that probe. I believe he should have been prosecuted for the lying because of the double standard. You see Mike Flynn, George Papadopoulos, Roger Stone, all charged with misstatements, and then McCabe not charged. It sort of makes people believe that an old FBI business card may be doubling as a get-out-of-jail-free card, and that's what we want to see the Attorney General refute. We want to see the Attorney General acknowledge that there is still some swamp left to be drained at the Department of Justice. I don't know how Andrew McCabe wouldn't be central to the...
Yeah, so, yeah, there's still some swamp left to drain there, definitely. No doubt about that. All right, let's go back now, see what else we have to get into. Not that. Here we go. All righty, let's look at this. This is good news for many of us. I think probably most of us. President Trump announces advisory board to expose research using aborted baby parts. Well, this is today's news, so it's hot and fresh, like the Krispy Kreme donut sign. And the Trump administration took another step to defend unborn babies Wednesday when it announced the formation of a new ethics board to look into the use of aborted baby body parts. That's, say that 10 times fast, aborted baby body parts. In government-funded research, this is not something I should be making fun of, and I'm not making light of it. It's just I like the sound of words. The new National Institute of Health Human Fetal Tissue Research Ethics Advisory Board is one of several ways the Trump administration has been working to end the unethical practice of using aborted baby body parts in taxpayer-funded scientific research. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar is overseeing the creation of the board, which will be made up of 15 non-government employees, including doctors, scientists, ethicists, attorneys, and theologians. The Ethics Board is tasked with researching the use of aborted baby body parts in scientific research and determining whether it is ethical. The board will create a final report to recommend whether HHS should stop funding such research. In providing advice and recommendations on these matters, the Ethics Board will consider, among other things, the use of alternative models and review and verify the core ethical principles and procedures used in the process to obtain written, voluntary, informed consent for the donation of tissue, the HHS announcement states. Over the past several years, the Trump administration has been listening to pro-life leaders' pleas to stop using taxpayer funding for research using aborted baby body parts through the NIH. In December, it ended a contract between the NIH and the University of California, San Francisco, that was using aborted baby body parts to create humanized mice for medical experimentation. A few months earlier, the NIH introduced new rules restricting taxpayer-funded research that uses aborted babies' body parts. In 2018, HHS also created a new $20 million grant to invest in ethical research alternatives to aborted baby parts. In the past, the federal government has given hundreds of millions of dollars to fund research using aborted baby parts. Pro-life groups and conservative news outlets have been uncovering details about government spending on this unethical research. Some of the government contracts have used tax dollars to pay for body parts of healthy late-term aborted babies, including potentially viable unborn babies up to 24 weeks. Some scientists have complained about the Trump administration's changes, but others say research using human fetal tissue has not been successful. Researchers at the Charlotte Lozier Institute said there also are ethical alternatives available to scientists that do not involve the destruction of a human life. A 2018 letter from HHS Assistant Secretary of Health, Brett Giroir, said the Trump administration is fully committed to prioritizing, expanding, and accelerating efforts to develop and implement the use of these alternatives. He also said the department is pro-life and pro-science. HHS is conducting an audit of all acquisitions involving human fetal tissue to ensure conformity with procurement and human fetal tissue research laws and regulations. In 2018, a CNS reporter shed light on how taxpayers' money is being spent on these ethically troubling experiments. It exposed the NIH contract with University of California, San Francisco for aborted body parts to conduct experiments involving humanized mice. Aborted baby parts used in the experiment were taken from healthy, later-term, unborn babies. According to the report, the aborted babies were 18 to 24 weeks gestation from women with normal pregnancies before elective termination for non-medical reasons. Another article indicated aborted baby livers and thymuses also were used. They were between 20 weeks and 24 weeks gestation. 2017 journal article indicates researchers also used aborted babies' intestines in their experiments. Several years ago, the Center for Medical Progress undercover investigation raised concerns about potentially illegal sale of human body parts by Planned Parenthood. It also uncovered evidence of abortionists allegedly putting women's lives at risk by altering abortion procedures to better harvest aborted body parts. The investigators also found evidence of possible patient privacy violations. So there you have it. And I think that's very good news that Trump is doing this. He actually seems to be listening and taking people's concerns to heart. And I appreciate that because I think that Trump understands that he works for the people. I really do believe. I mean, from everything we've seen from him so far, he appears to be very, very concerned about what Americans want and what they need. So I'm all for him doing another term. In fact, I wish that he could do 8 more years instead of 4. He should be given another 4 years for the 4 years that's been wasted by the Democrats. I mean, imagine what he could have really accomplished. I mean, he's accomplished so much in a short amount of time. But imagine what he could have accomplished if he didn't have the constant drag of the Democrats pulling on his tailcoat all the time. Really. Anyway, let's go on because we can and we will. All right. Now, for all you guys that say, oh, nothing's happening. Look at all these sealed indictments. 147,960 from October 30th, 2017. That's about, that's from 2 days after Q began to post to January 31st, 2020. And let's take a look at these. It's a lot of sealed indictments, isn't it? But you know what I found I got a kick out of is looking at the different states, because you can tell by the number of indictments, kind of gives you a feel for the state. I mean, look at here. Georgia only has 666. Well, I don't like that number, but I won't read anything nefarious into it. But Georgia only has 666. South Carolina only 661. Virginia, wow, 4,741. And look at Ohio, 7,539. Pennsylvania, 8,885. And New York, well, I would expect that. But now I'm surprised that Louisiana, it only has 1,315. I've lived in Louisiana, so yes, I speak from experience there. I would have imagined that there were many, many more. But let's go over to California, the most corrupt state in among all the states. 25,010. 25,000 sealed indictments. Wow. And who has the least? Oregon. Wyoming has only 46. Well, that would be a great place to move to, except Wyoming's really, really flat. I haven't been there since I was a kid, but I think Wyoming is very, very flat. And let me see. I like hills, mountains, things like that. All right, and let's go see these. Hawaii has 729, not too bad. Alaska, 151, too cold up there to commit crime. But Wyoming seems to be the least amount, so there you go. If you live in Wyoming, congratulations. And Oregon's not bad either, 281. But California, that is unbelievable. 25,000. 25,000. All right. 25,000. Really? Okay, and Texas, 14,679. That's a little surprising to me. And Guam, 257. Now, and that's like that's little. Remember who was that? My gosh, that said that they were afraid of adding people to the island in case the island tipped over. It was Congressman. I can picture him, but I can't remember his name. Anyway, Puerto Rico, not too bad. Virgin Islands, only 228. And Northern Mariana Islands, 8. But yeah, so to tell you the truth, the numbers are what I would expect for although I'm surprised Wyoming only has 46. That's really, really low. So good for you, Wyoming. And Oregon is the next lowest, I do believe. So yeah, interesting. But and South Carolina and Georgia, that's quite impressive. So yeah. All right. Well, and up here, I missed these numbers up here. So West Virginia has a lot for being so little, 1,326. Maryland, now I would expect that to have a lot, 4,235. Delaware only has 410, but Delaware's very, very small. New Jersey, 1,509. Rhode Island, 956. So there you go, people. Those are all the sealed indictments. Gee, can't wait till all those get unsealed. Be interesting to find out. It says the number of sealed case filings nationwide is unprecedented. 5,685 new filings for month of January 2020. So yeah, there's stuff going on. And this from Joe M., and he's responding to Greg Rubini, who says, "Hi, Pontiff Pope, how are you? Are you praying every day to have President Trump reelected in 2020? I'm sure you do. Oh, and tell me about the Schiff in the Vatican that you used with the Brennan boys to spy on Trump in 2016. Now, this is the first time I'm hearing about this. But this, according to Joe M., he responds and says, Greg says that the Pope, CEO of the largest child sex trafficking organization in history, held secret meetings at the Vatican with deep state Lieutenant John Brennan's operatives to plot the overthrow of President Trump. And there, you thought he was just head of a church. Well, I have some other names I could call him besides head of a church, but I won't. All right, now let's look at this. Now, I'm sorry, but this is my sense of humor, so I had to show you this. Remember when they were finding all these pigeons with little cowboy hats on them? No, really, it was a news story. I kid you not. Somebody was putting little cowboy hats on pigeons. Well, now look what somebody's doing. I mean, this is the greatest thing ever. And yes, these hats really are on the pigeons. They're not photoshopped. And there we go. We've got a little Trump hairdo on this one. Love that. Love it. I laughed so hard when I saw that. I mean, I don't know who's doing this, but it's hysterical. And the pigeons don't seem to mind. I mean, they look perfectly happy. I mean, I am quite certain that the pigeons are for Trump, really. You know, people are happier now, so they tend to throw them more food. So yeah, the pigeons are happy. But I love this little Trump hairdo on this pigeon. I think that's my favorite. Yeah. And obviously a very friendly pigeon too. So there you go. I know you city dwellers don't like pigeons, but I really like them. I probably wouldn't like them if they were crapping all over my sidewalk, but you know, to each his own. All right, let's go back now and look at the next thing. And let's look at this, a view from above as thousands of people make their way into Veterans Memorial Coliseum for tonight's Keep America Great rally. President Trump is expected to take the stage at 7 tonight, which is already passed. But look at those people. Let me make this bigger for you all on your tiny phones. Well, that's annoying. We don't want that, but let's do this and make it bigger. I know, always thinking about you tiny phone people. Look at that. You think Bernie Sanders or Pete, however you say his last name, or Bloomberg could draw crowds like this? No, not even close. Not even close. Before I die, I want to get to a Trump rally. I want to see Trump in person before I die. Not that I'm planning on dying anytime soon, but one never knows. Life is short. So I just find this extremely impressive. And, you know the mainstream news isn't going to show you that. Well, maybe because this is Fox 10. So there you go. They are covering it. Haha. All right, let's go back. Because we can. Now, I had mentioned in a past broadcast about the vasectomy bill, and I think that it is horrendously unfair and ridiculous, to tell the truth, because this woman has this bill that she wants all the men in Alabama to get vasectomies once they're over 50. Oh, and by the way, it's not the state that will pay for it. You'll pay for it. Or if you have 3 children, it's an automatic snip, snip for you in Alabama. Yeah, so this is Ted Cruz on the vasectomy bill. Let's see what he has to say. Ted Cruz criticizes vasectomy bill, exposing his hypocrisy on reproduction rights. Unwitting boost to Alabama Democrat pushing back on restrictive abortion laws by objecting to her vasectomy proposal on Twitter. Ted Cruz, the Republican Texas senator, has given an unwitting boost to an Alabama lawmaker's attempt to push back on restrictive abortion laws in her state by tweeting about the proposal to force men to have vasectomies when they reach the age of 50. Democrat representative, okay, well, there's a difference between a woman having an abortion, and she decides to do that. Now, I don't agree with abortion, but women decide to have abortions. It's not forced upon them. Nobody holds them down. There's no law that makes them have an abortion. So, yeah, you're comparing apples and oranges here. But forcing a man to get a vasectomy is not the same thing. But I guess if you're a liberal, you're not able to, reason that out in your mind, I guess. I don't know. But one would assume that they have the IQ of plankton. Anyway, so I did not realize that vasectomy bill was in response to the stricter abortion laws in Alabama, but it's still ridiculous. I don't care, because it's not the same thing at all. So nobody forces a woman to have an abortion, but they're wanting to force men to have a vasectomy. You know how people run around with save the tatas, for breast cancer? Well, I think we should have a little, yellow ribbon or pink, not pink ribbon, maybe a blue ribbon for men, a blue ribbon that says, save the testes. Absolutely. I'm all for saving them. I'm on your side, man. Really, I am. Okay. I guess if you're in Alabama, keep your legs crossed. All right, here we go. I like Alabama. Don't be sending me nasty things now. I have friends in Alabama. I like Alabama. Nothing wrong with Alabama. Well, maybe some of this law, there's something wrong with this law that they're trying to pass, but overall, Alabama's all right. Okay, let's go on to this. Congressman calls on California to fire pension official tied to Chinese spy program. Fund manager has poured millions into regime-linked companies. Well, oh, it's California. Never mind. We're not surprised at that. Unbelievable. And please don't ever think, if you live in California, don't ever think that I'm applying this to you. There are many, many good people in California, good people that don't agree with the way the state is being run and the way the state is going. So don't ever think that I'm talking to you or putting you down or anything like that, because I'm not at all. I feel heartsick sorry for those that are in California right now that are trapped there. Maybe their job is there, whatever. And they are, it's not their choice. They don't want the government that they have there, but they're trapped there nonetheless. All right. A Republican lawmaker urged California to fire a top pension fund official because he participated in a Chinese program that the FBI has called non-traditional espionage against the United States. Representative Jim Banks, Republican, Indiana, asked Governor Gavin Newsom to investigate Yu Ben Ming, the chief investment officer at California Public Employees Retirement System, for his long and cozy relationship with the Chinese Communist Party. The letter also decried CalPERS investment into Chinese companies that built up the regime's military presence in contested waters of the South China Seas and produced surveillance equipment used for China's brutal crackdown. What just happened here? Hang on. There we go. Okay. It's time, I believe, for a new light because my cat's chewed through the wire and there's a little short in it. So that is what just happened. I thought the power was out for a minute, but then I thought, no, power's not out. The other lights are on. Okay, so let's go on now. Sorry for that rude interruption. Where was I? The letter also decried CalPERS investment into Chinese companies that built up the regime's military presence in contested waters of the South China Sea and produced surveillance equipment used for China's brutal crackdown in Xinjiang. Governor Newsom, if it were up to me, I would fire Mr. Meng immediately, Banks said in a letter to the governor. At the least, I think a thorough investigation of Mr. Meng's relationship to the Chinese Communist Party and a comparison of CalPERS investments in Chinese companies before and after Mr. Meng's 2008 hiring are both warranted. CalPERS is the largest public pension fund in the country, controlling $370 billion in assets that provide retirement benefits to more than 2 million Californians and health care to 1.5 million members and their families. Meng, a China-born U.S. citizen, is in charge of the financial behemoth's investment portfolio, which today retains billions of dollars worth of shares in Chinese companies. He worked at CalPERS for 7 years until 2015 before being recruited by China's Thousand Talents program, a program widely accused of serving as an arm of Chinese spy agencies. He served as the deputy CIO of China's State Administration of Foreign Exchange from 2015 to 2018. He returned to CalPERS in January 2019. Meng's ascent at CalPERS is the latest example of how TTP recruits have penetrated American institutions. A Senate report found that the program partnered with more than 7,000 high-end professionals, including many Nobel laureates, to give China an edge in the technology race. The program specifically instructed numerous researchers on its payroll to illegally deliver research funded, according to the report. In response, the funded Chinese institutions, ties with Chinese institutions, according to the report. In response, the FBI started a crackdown on U.S. researchers participating in the program. Federal agents arrested the chair of Harvard University's chemistry department for lying to law enforcement about his $1 million research partnership with TTP in January. Meng was public about his fierce loyalty to China when he was participating in TTP. He told People's Daily, the propaganda organ of the Chinese Communist Party, that his patriotic devotion to the regime convinced him to leave CalPERS in 2015. In a person's life, if there is an opportunity to work for the motherland, this responsibility and honor is unmatched by anything, Meng told the propaganda organ, according to a translation of the Chinese language article included in the letter. CalPERS CEO Marcy Frost told the Washington Free Beacon that Meng has CalPERS' full and unwavering support. She added that the pension fund complies with all federal and state laws and that only 1% of the fund's portfolio is Chinese public equities. CalPERS Chief Investment Officer Ben Meng, PhD, is a globally respected financial expert and a proud citizen of the United States. She said in a statement, his commitment to California's public servants is extraordinary and his integrity above reproach. CalPERS possessed shares in at least 172 Chinese companies with a total value of $3.2 billion in market value in 2018, according to the California Globe. Now, I wonder how those shares in those companies are going to fare with all this coronavirus. That'd be interesting to find out. Anyway, banks singled out several of these investments as objectable, especially given Cowper's commitment to a socially conscious investment strategy. He criticized tools used in the crackdown in Xinjiang, as well as China Communication Construction Company, which constructed military bases in the South China Cowper's investments don't just threaten American national security, banks wrote. They bolster China's ongoing human rights violations, including its genocide of, and I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce this word, but it is Muslims in Xinjiang province. And there they have cracked down on Muslims. They have rounded them up and they have put them all in prison camps. Newsom's office did not respond to requests for comment, and would you expect him to? Really? I wouldn't. I'd be shocked if he did. Anyway, thought you needed to be aware of that, and let's come back here and go on. Now, I may skip that, or I may not. We'll just see. I might come back to this. All right, let's look at this. Maxine Waters. Oi. That's all I can say. I think about her and I say, oi. That's all you can say. Maxine Waters, Trump will get worse post-impeachment, will bring Putin to the White House to interfere. Wow. Really? She needs to get back on her medication. And if she's not on medication, she needs to be. Really. There's something wrong with that woman. I mean, I think there's something wrong with all of them. Pelosi, can you not honestly say there's something wrong with that woman? All right, but Maxine Waters, she's just out there. Okay, Representative Maxine Waters ripped President Donald Trump and Attorney General William Barr in a long-winded rant Sunday on MSNBC's KCDC after saying she thinks Barr criticizing Trump's tweet is an attempt to trick everyone. Waters predicted Trump will get worse now that he has been acquitted of impeachment in the Senate, adding he will bring Russian President Vladimir Putin into the White House to continue to interfere. All right then, Maxine. All right, calm down. Take your medicine. You'll be okay. The president does not believe that there are any reins on him, that he can do whatever he wants to do, Waters told Casey Hunt, and that's exactly what he's doing, and he's going to get worse since he's basically not indicated, not charged with obstruction of justice in the impeachment trials. He's going to get worse now. This president is going to do everything from bring Putin into the White House to continue to interfere, and don't worry, he's going to pardon Michael Flynn eventually, pardon Roger Stone eventually. This president is out of control. No, Maxine, you're out of control. You are out of control. Don't let's listen to her. And I'm doing this only to torment you. Not really, but you know, if the shoe fits.
Let me start with what we have seen here. We just showed our audience Mr. Barr saying that the tweets are not helpful in him trying to do his job as Attorney General. Do you believe Mr. Barr?
No, absolutely not. Mr. Barr has been protecting the president even before he was appointed. He auditioned for the job, and he wrote an extensive memorandum basically saying the president can do whatever he wants to do. He can't be indicted. He can't be accused of a crime. And so I think this is another trick that's been worked out with he and the president of the United States to try and make people believe that he's objective and that he's trying to do his job without interference. I don't believe him for 1 minute. This attorney general has been shameless and brazen in the way that he has protected the president, in the way that he's not served the American people. He is not the president's personal attorney. He's the people's attorney. But you would never know that, judging from all the things that he has done. And so, no, I don't believe him at all.
The president said that he has a quote-unquote legal right to intervene in criminal cases as president. Do you believe that that's the case?
Well, the president thinks he can do whatever he chooses to do. As a matter of fact, recently in a tweet, he referred to himself as king. And so he supposedly was a quote, but that's really what he meant. The president does not believe that there are any reins on him, that he can do whatever he wants to do. And that's exactly what he's doing. And he's going to get worse since he was basically not indicted, not charged with obstruction of justice in the impeachment trials. He's going to get worse now. This president is going to do everything from bring Putin into the White House to continue to interfere. And don't worry, he's going to pardon Flynn eventually. He's going to pardon Roger Stone eventually. This president is out of control.
Unbelievable. I like the way she said Putin, because she's always talking about Putin. This president's in bed with Putin. And, you know, I mean, remember her, all we heard from her, impeach 45, impeach 45. He's in bed with Putin. But she says it, Putin. Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't even know what to say to that. How do you even respond to something like that? You can't, not and maintain your own brain cells. All right, well, let's, what on earth? Hang on here. Is this still? Yes, it is. It is still recording. There I am. There you are. All right, we're all here. Let's go back. Okay, let's look at this by Jellycat. Now, this tweet was by Barack Obama. I'm sure some of you saw this. This was from February the 17th, and he said, 11 years ago today, near the bottom of the worst recession in generations, I signed the Recovery Act, paving the way for more than a decade of economic growth and the longest streak of job creation in American history. Now, who can't see through this? Yeah, I pretty much figured that you guys would all see through this. I mean, he's trying to take credit for the jobs and the economy that Trump has brought. And that's what he's trying to do. He is shameless. So Jellycat says, but wait now, wasn't it Barack Obama who told us jobs aren't coming back? That unless one of us found a magic wand, American jobs would never return? This treasonous deep state clown always trying to low-key take credit for Donald Trump's accomplishments. Yeah, of course, because he had no accomplishments of his own. Zip, zero, zilch, nada. Unbelievable. Now, that is the end, but I am going to come back up to this right here. Yep, that's right, right here. I'm also going to show you something real quick because we do have one Q tweet, and I want to show that to you. Now, I can't show you the video, but I will post a link to the video in the first pinned comment because, hang on. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Or I'm going to put it in the, I'll put it in the description of the video. That's what I'll do. It'll be right there in the description. I'm going to put a link to it, and I'm going to take you out there now to look because I don't want to ignore this post, but on the other hand, I'm not going to do a separate video for one post. So let me see here. And it is this, says at the rally, chant, who is Q? And of course, if we go out to this video, this is a very good video, and it's about 9 minutes long. That's why I can't really play it in its entirety. But I'm going to put that in the description of the video for you guys to take a look if you haven't already seen it. It is worth it. Definitely worth it. Okay. So that is the only Q post for today, which is the 18th. And I will check tomorrow as well to make sure that if there are posts that I bring those to you in a timely manner. And of course, I will be back tomorrow. But in the meantime, let's look at this last little bit that I have, and then we'll call it a night because it is a night. All right. The dark truth about Mitt Romney. Willard has skeletons in his closet. This is by Patrick Howley, and this was January 27th, but somebody sent this to me just recently, so I am just seeing this. Utah GOP Senator Willard Mitt Romney is standing out among Republicans for his anti-President Trump activism during Trump's Senate impeachment trial. Romney said that he would be open to hearing what John Bolton has to say as a trial witness after Bolton allegedly wrote in his unpublished manuscript that Trump wanted to withhold foreign aid from Ukraine. The reasons Trump allegedly wanted to withhold the aid are unclear, and Trump has strongly denied Bolton's hypothetical claim, which was reported by the New York Times. There is no hard evidence that Trump withheld aid to Ukraine to coerce the government to investigate Joe Biden's alleged corruption regarding his role in the firing of a prosecutor who was looking into Burisma Holdings, an oil company that Joe's son, Hunter Biden, sat on the board of. Now, after 2 weeks, it's clear, this by Senator Kelly Loeffler, after 2 weeks, it's clear that Democrats have no case for impeachment. Sadly, my colleague, Senator Romney, wants to appease the left by calling witnesses who will slander Donald Trump during their 15 minutes of fame. The circus is over. It's time to move on. And the American people said, yes, it's over. Move on. Romney has his own problems that make it clear he is not a real conservative and underscore why Romney is so maliciously anti-Trump. Romney's foreign policy advisor, Joseph Coffer Black, served on the board of Burisma Holdings alongside Hunter Biden. The Huffington Post reported in 2017, former director of CIA's Counterterrorist Center, joined Burisma's board, and he will help to expand the company's global presence. Burisma Group, an independent oil and gas company with operations in Ukraine, announced that Joseph Coffer Black will join the company's board of directors. Joseph Coffer Black's past experience includes director of CIA's Counterterrorist Center between 1999 and 2002 and ambassador at large for counterterrorism between 2000 and 2004. With such a strong background, Mr. Black will be leading the company's security and strategic development efforts. Black went on to say, knowing all too well the energy and security challenges Ukraine has had to manage, I am pleased to join the board of a privately held company that has been continuously working to ensure Ukraine's energy security. Burisma should be proud of its contributions to Ukraine's economy through its investments in production, job creation, and expansion, and its tax payments to the state. Now, Coffer Black, who served as special advisor on the Romney 2012 presidential campaign, was listed on the Burisma board at the same time as Hunter Biden, according to the Federalist. Well, things that make you go, yes, indeed. So, yeah. Romney invested in Stericycle, the baby fetus disposal company long utilized by Planned Parenthood clinics. Well, more things that make you go, David Korn reported in 2012, earlier this year, Mitt Romney nearly landed in a political perilous controversy when Huffington Post reported that in 1999, the GOP presidential candidate had been part of an investment group that invested $75 million in Stericycle, a medical waste disposal firm that has been attacked by anti-abortion groups for disposing aborted fetuses collected from family planning clinics. The company said Romney left the firm in February 1999 to run the troubled 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City and likely had nothing to do with the deal. The matter never became a campaign issue, but documents filed by Bain and Stericycle with the Securities and Exchange Commission and obtained by Mother Jones list Romney as an active participant in the investment. And this deal helped Stericycle, a company with a poor safety record, grow while yielding tens of millions of dollars in profit for Romney and his partners. The documents, one of which was signed by Romney, also contradict the official count of Romney's exit from Bain. Romney's Bain Capital accepted an early investment from Robert Maxwell, father of the late pedophile, and accused human trafficker Jeffrey Epstein's companion, Ghislaine Maxwell. The Telegraph reported in 2012, Maxwell, the late owner of Mirror newspapers, invested $2 million in Mr. Romney's first private equity fund, which launched the controversial career in finance that the Republican presidential challenger now cites as proof of his ability to lead the U.S. to prosperity. He was recruited by Leonce, a late colleague of Mr. Romney, out of Bain and Company, and one of the Guinness Four who were convicted in 1990 over the infamous share trading fraud at the drinks firm. Lyons and his family invested almost $3 million in Mr. Romney's fund, and Ghislaine Maxwell's nephew worked for Hillary Clinton's State Department, highlighting how Romney, who aspired to be Trump's Secretary of State, is tied into the bipartisan swamp foreign policy establishment. Well, well. Can any of us say we are surprised? I don't think so. But it's interesting nonetheless. All right, well, that is it for this evening. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will be back, the Lord willing, tomorrow with probably an update on the coronavirus and more news. And if there are Q posts, well, I will bring those to you as well. All right, guys, you have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for listening. I know you have a choice of who to listen to on YouTube, and I'm always humbled when you choose my channel. So thank you, guys. Thank you to all my faithful listeners and those of you that pray for this channel, pray for me, offer encouragement, offer comments in the comment section. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to being with you again real soon. All right, guys. Good night. Stay safe. Stay well. Stay blessed. Keep seeking truth.